This is as good a time as any to remind everybody that shootouts are dumb. Minnesota Wild fall 1-0 in a shootout to the Calgary Flames. We'll break down all the action, the overturned Jared Spurgeon goal, and more on tonight's Locked On Wild Postcast.
You are Locked On Wild Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, your team every day.
And welcome into tonight's Locked On Wild Postcast. The Minnesota Wild fall 1-0 in a shootout here tonight to the Calgary Flames. So the 4-game winning streak for the Wild has been snapped, but they maintain a 10-game point streak and are continuing to get points even when they are not able to get wins. And again, they have been on just an absolute roll here over the last handful of games. And me, the Wild, they played well. It was a sloppy game in terms of penalties, as you'd expect, with a Calgary team playing on the second night of a back-to-back and a Calgary team desperate, playing for their playoff lives. They were frustrated most of the night. They were chippy. They were physical. Everything that you would expect from the Flames coming into this game. But then you had both goalies absolutely stand on their heads, nothing getting past Jacob Markstrom or Filip Gustavsson until we got to the shootout. And then in the shootout, it was Nazem, Kadri, and Tyler Toffoli winning it for Calgary. Freddy Gaudreau scored in the shootout again. That's what he does. That's his thing. Despite Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Zuccarello not having the same opportunity to do so. And it's weird because you look at the Wild defensively played another stifling game. They just locked up Calgary for most of the night in regulation. And so why do I sit here and kind of feel like it's not a great loss? Well, it comes down to missed opportunities. Jacob Markstrom was the only reason, again, that this wasn't just an absolute rout, because the Wild got chances to him. They just weren't able to get anything past him. And so generating chances has been better for this team over the last handful of games, but finishing is still a problem and still an issue for this team. And you couple that with opportunities on the power play. And I said before, and I'll maintain my thoughts after the game against Calgary on Saturday, that you're going to need a little time for the new guys to come in and gel on this system. You have that whole group of players that have been playing on that top power play for most of the season, and now you're integrating a new quarterback in John Klingberg. You have some other players in Marcus Johansson, who has seen some time there as well. So you're not going to be able to just get that to gel immediately, but the same problems still exist in that there are opportunities throughout the game where shots are there and shots are being passed up on. That's the thing that needs to be corrected. And Matt Boldy had one tonight where he had an opportunity to let one fly and opted not to. The Wild had a couple of different odd man rush opportunities. They had a breakaway opportunity in this one. And you just have guys still not in that let it rip mentality, which has led to goalies being able to make saves in those situations. Markstrom is a bigger goalie, yes. And so it's not a guarantee having a breakaway that you're going to be able to get one past. But it's a work in progress for this team offensively, even though the ability to generate chances has been better. I mean, look at what we've seen from that second line. And I think we saw it from all four here tonight in the ability to sustain looks, sustain zone time. And so if you look at it as A, sustaining the zone, B, generating chances, and then C, scoring goals. Sustaining and generating, they're both good. A to B is fine. You just now have to move towards actually getting goals in the net. And so on a night like tonight where you have the only goal of the game waved off, and so looking into this a little bit, the Spurgeon offsides, is there was something that happened. There was another one, and I actually had somebody on Twitter send this to me a little bit ago, in that Anthony Beauvillier came into the zone backwards and was trying to gain possession of the puck as he did so. And that one ended up being a good goal. But I think the thing is that as you're coming into the zone, you can back in as long as you have possession when you enter. And it wasn't necessarily that Spurgeon was offsides. It was that he didn't have possession as he came into the zone in overtime. And so, that one is unfortunate because Hartman just rips the shot, and then the rebound comes free, and Jared Spurgeon is able to let it fly. So it's frustrating because you have all of that celebration after you think you won the game, and then you have to come back out there and you end up losing it. And so that was unfortunate. But again, the Wild did get one of the 2 points, and they continue to do really, really good things on defense. It's just the offense continues to be a little bit of a work in progress. You've got, I think, and this may sound weird to say, but I think missing a guy like Brandon Duhaime, not necessarily known as a scorer, but just a guy who can push, I think has hurt this team as well. Now, we did see the debut of Oscar Sundqvist in this one, and he, right on cue, draws a high sticking penalty. But it'll be interesting to see him throughout the rest of the next few games as he gets further comfortable with this team. But Klingberg, I thought, was good again. Did a good job of helping push the offense. It's just going to take a little while. Hopefully not too long, but it is going to take a little while to get comfortability on that power play. So all in all, you get a point, and this team just continues to be on an absolute roll. And so my overall impression is, that's great. It just would have been nice to have more. It would have been nice to have the other point. I'm getting greedy here at this point in the season. I wanted both points as opposed to just the one. But the Wild's back in action tomorrow night, and we will talk about the Winnipeg Jets, who the Wild will face tomorrow night, a divisional bout. Winnipeg, they're in a little bit of a skid, and so we'll talk about that as we continue tonight's Locked On Wild postcast. Minnesota Wild fall 1-0 in a shootout. We will continue to break down all of the action on our Locked On Wild postcast after a word from our sponsors, which tonight is the official sportsbook partner of Locked On. That is none other than FanDuel Sportsbook. The midway point of the NBA and NHL season has passed us by, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to the point scorers to who shoots and scores the goals, plus three-pointers drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of Locked On. Our next partner is a product I use every single day of the week. I started taking AG1 because it helps you simplify your vitamin and supplement routine. All you need is one delicious scoop of AG1, and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy recovery, focus, and aging. It is also lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is head to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Continuing tonight's Locked On Wild postcast, Minnesota Wild fall by a score of 1-0 in a shootout to the Winnipeg Jets, but they keep their point streak alive at 10 straight games. So what's next for the Minnesota Wild? Well, it's the Winnipeg Jets, but it's not the Winnipeg Jets of the beginning of the season. It's the Winnipeg Jets of now, and let me tell you, it's been a little bit of a struggle for the Winnipeg Jets here so far this second half of the season. The Jets come in, they're 2-6-2 in their last 10 games, and it's a Winnipeg Jets team that is barely above 500 in the second half of the season. Now, the thing that has really seemed to let them down over this stretch, and we'll talk more about this in tomorrow's pregame preview. Yes, we will still have a pregame preview for you of this game. We'll dive into things a little more in depth. But just looking at what has let the Jets down, it's been a little bit of the defense, the goaltend. It's been a little bit of everything here so far in this portion of the season. But Connor Hellebuyck, you look at what he did in the month of January. He went 6-6, and the Jets in a handful of games just did not score him any goals. Had a game he lost against Nashville 2-1. Had a game he lost against the Flyers 4-0. But then it also has been in the games where the Jets have scored, they have also had games where they've come on the wrong end of losing to, say, Detroit, 7-5. In February, they lost 6-5 in a shootout to the Los Angeles Kings. They also then came back to rally from a deficit to beat Edmonton in their most recent game by a score of 7-5. So it's just a Jets team that's not playing as tight as they were earlier in the season, starting to let in some goals and just inconsistent offensively here has, I think, been the big one for the Jets. But it's a Winnipeg team that plays similar to the way that the Wild play. The Wild are going to try to limit the chances like they've done against Calgary, like they've done against everybody pretty much all season. And so it will come down to just trying to really take advantage of an opportunity to pick up a big divisional win against a team directly behind them in the standings and keep pace with the Dallas Stars. The Wild, after that win tonight, picking up the single point, they find themselves with an opportunity to tie the divisional lead with the Dallas Stars if they were to beat the Winnipeg Jets tomorrow night. They would also have 81 points, as do the Dallas Stars. The Stars don't play until Thursday. And so for Winnipeg, a very tough place to play. They're 21-10-2 at home on the season. And for the Wild, starting to improve that road record, 15-11-4 on the season. So go out there and quiet that crowd right away and try to come away with a win. I would imagine the Wild will be a little upset with the result tonight. And so we'll see what sort of bounce they have against the Jets tomorrow night. That will wrap up tonight's Locked On Wild postcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to these postcasts. We will have another for you tomorrow night after the Wild and Jets concludes. Make sure to keep an eye out for that, as well as our pregame content and full episodes, all coming at you as part of Locked On Wild. Good time to subscribe if you have not already. So wherever you listen to your podcasts, you give Locked On Wild a follow, and also follow us on YouTube so that you don't miss out on any of our video content either. We are keeping you up to date with new episodes every Monday through Friday as part of the Locked On Podcast Network.